Good afternoon. My name is Willow Andreasson. This is the second section of Chapter 3 of my book, A Journey into the Mysteries of Life, Lessons from the World Beyond, Book 1, The End of the Beginning. Chapter 3 covers my sister, and it's entitled My Sister, Her Latest Return Journey. This is the second part of that chapter. Unchristened, my sister attended a Roman Catholic secondary school. She entered the school believing in Christianity. Although the standard of education was fantastic and she genuinely enjoyed her 7 years at the school, she became head girl. She departed the school as a devout agnostic, asserting that so-called Christian schools are the least Christian places on earth. My sister's interest in other worldly religions had not been hindered by her Catholic schooling experience. She had a depth of knowledge about both the Talmud and the Quran. She was drawn towards Hinduism. Her interest ignited my own thirst for knowledge. We used to sit together to watch B.R. Chopra's televisual series Mahabharat most Saturday afternoons. I became absorbed by the sheer scale, beauty and message of the series, and just how that message remained so painfully relevant in contemporary times. The series was based on the Sanskrit epic poem the Mahabharata. The origins of the original Sanskrit text most likely falls between the 8th and 9th century BCE. Source of this is Wikipedia. Mankind facing the problems of family strife, territoriality, and world-devastating wars. The ultimate battle, good versus evil, and how it became apparent to me just how little we have learned as a civilization in almost 10,000 years. My sister was a talented musician. She was a self-taught pianist, composing her own folk songs, performing both adapted music and her own compositions at school. She had an exceptional singing voice and won competitions with her performances. She also enjoyed life to the full. She was a heavy smoker and a heavy drinker. She particularly loved living life in the fast lane and relished flirting with danger. She was a devoted and loyal friend. People had to earn her respect. She challenged authority if she deemed it necessary, and had no fear of the consequences. She did not judge and always tried to look for the good in everyone. Fear was the biggest killer of a person's soul, and what you feared most always happened, according to my sister. In retrospect, I feel she was describing the law of attraction. There are many authors and life teachers in today's world who enlighten souls about the law of attraction. My sister was applying this law to her life, and her life was amazing. However, she had one huge fear, and it was one she couldn't shake off, no matter how hard she tried. My sister's overriding fear was being diagnosed with cancer. She admitted to being so phobic about the condition, she avoided reading articles about it. If she saw the word in a magazine article, she turned a page. She felt physically sick when she heard people talking about the condition. My sister had the misfortune of suffering from glandular fever not just once, but twice. She first suffered the condition when she was about 12 to 13 years of age. Her second bout occurred when she was nearly 16 years of age. After the second bout, it seemed to me that her health never really returned to full pelt. I would like to say at this point that I am not a doctor either. This is not a medical journal. I am merely commenting on what I speculate may have been responsible for my sister's eventual illness. Glandular fever is caused by the Epstein-Barr virus, EBV for short. EBV is also associated with other conditions and has a strong association with cancers of the lymphatic system. Most people are exposed to EBV at some point in their lives. My understanding is that if EBV does present symptoms, it generally presents as glandular fever, but mostly, complications rarely arise from carrying the virus. My sister had been misdiagnosed and ignored by various members of the medical profession for over 2 years prior to her diagnosis. She was prescribed more antibiotics for her latest sore throat. She was told to use cotton sheets to help her with her night sweats. Itchy skin? There's a history of familial eczema. Are you really surprised? You're feeling tired? Most likely another virus. The solid lump that was so visible on her neck was passed off as an enlarged gland. Finally, a doctor did relent, referring my sister for a non-urgent X-ray. As soon as the radiologist focused on the area concerned, she spotted the problem immediately. I won't go into detail about cancer treatments. All I will say is that my sister was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma at the age of 20. She was rightfully angry that the condition had been missed at an earlier stage, and was absolutely terrified of a treatment, knowing that there were going to be excruciating side effects as a result of it. Many errors were made, vital blood test results lost. Just over a year after her initial diagnosis, my sister was verging on terminal illness. The very treatment that was supposed to cure her hindered her, and may, ultimately, have contributed to her early passing. As with most cancers, there are aggressive and non-aggressive types. My sister's cancer was aggressive in nature, continuing to spread irrespective of treatment. Even if all the rules had been followed to the book, she likely never stood a chance. Grandfather's passing from cancer occurred shortly after my sister had been told that her condition was terminal. My sister did have moments of joy during her last months of life, spending time with her friends. She started reading books about philosophy, especially in relation to life after death. She considered herself fortunate that she had enjoyed some quality of life. "Only need to look at the poor toddlers wandering around with drips to know I'm lucky, sis," she confided to me only weeks before she passed away. I feel so much joy in knowing that both grandfather and my sister had had the opportunity to meet my oldest daughter during the final months of their earthly lives. My sister savoured being an aunt, and she was a devoted one at that. She jiggled her niece on her knee, making plans with her that she knew she could never fulfil in a physical capacity. My sister already knew she was dying. She didn't need to say so. I just knew. My sister passed away at the age of 21. The moment of her passing is one I will relate during this series of books, as it encompassed one of the most defining paranormal experiences I have had in my life to date. The acceptance I had felt so readily at the words she had stated less than a decade beforehand had dissipated. I felt her physical loss keenly, as did everyone who knew her, such was the enormity of her presence. I didn't mourn or grieve, though, because I knew she was still with us. Even at that point, I had no idea how our relationship would continue to expand even with that artificial barrier between us. And that barrier is artificial. We are in the same dimension. Time is an illusion. Reality as we understand it is not so. As I type, I hear my sister saying, "Have you not thought that you are the ghost in the machine?"